Hi, my name's Gina Clear and I'm from Basildon in Essex in the United Kingdom. I'm an ultra cyclist and my ultimate goal is to ride a race across America as a soloist. I can't wait till I get to America, and I'd like to welcome you today to the OhioRAAM show.
Well, hello again, Lee Kreider here, host of the OhioRAAM show, a show about cycling and ultra cycling. We're coming to you this morning from a very, very cold Ohio. It was minus 24 degrees this morning. That's centigrade. That's minus 11 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who live in more backward countries. And we want to thank Gina Clear for giving us that introduction. She comes from England, and we'll be seeing her on the show on February the 7th. And we hope to see her riding here in the United States before too long. And this is show number 175. It's brought to you by the time stations of the Race Across America, 41 in Oxford, Ohio, and 42 in Blanchester, Ohio. And we'll be telling you a lot more about those as we near June and get close to the Race Across America. On today's show, we're going to have Jason Ingels and his wife Brandy from Orlando, Florida. And Jason has been making his way through the world of ultra cycling. He did RAAM last year, did not complete it. He is scheduled to do the Race Across the West again this year and hopefully learn things that will do him well and get him to Durango, Colorado in good shape. As always, we want to make sure you watch the show notes that is at the bottom of the video if you're watching the show on the website OhioRAAMshow.com, which will tell you some more things about Jason. And with that, we're going to head right on down to Orlando, Florida, and Jason Ingels and his wife Brandy. And so we're down to Orlando, Florida with Brandy and Jason Ingels. How are you folks today?
Pretty good.
Good. Tell me a little about yourselves.
We moved down here to Florida probably in 2011. Mm-hmm. Used to live up in Kansas City area for the rest of my life before that. I've got two kids, Dwight, who is now 13, and Amelia, who's 8.
And so what took you to Florida? Was it a job or just wanted to live there?
Yeah, I teach on full motion flight simulators. I used to fly for a living. When we had our son, I was kind of looking for a way of being home a little bit more and not calling home from hotel rooms all the time. Yeah. And so got into teaching on full motion flight simulators. So it kind of satisfies my want to fly. But when the workday is done, you put the sim down off of motion and get out and go home. I did that in Wichita, Kansas for about 6.5 years. And then I had the opportunity with the same company, same job to transfer to Orlando.
How about you, Brandy? What keeps you interested in life?
When we moved down here, I joined EA Sports and I make Madden Football, the video game.
With the kids, I'm just kind of the guy that flies airplanes. Mom's the one that builds video games. She's cool.
Jason, tell me a little bit about how you got into cycling and a little bit about your background in ultra cycling.
I started off in Wichita, Kansas on a mountain bike in probably like 2009 to 2010, just going back and forth probably about 3 miles from the house to a Sonic to get a large hot fudge sundae with my son. So start off being very unhealthy, just going 3 miles to get a large hot fudge sundae and back on a mountain bike. And I was enjoying doing that, and then eventually got to going to the grocery store, which was a little bit further away. And then one day I left the car at my work with the intention of going back and getting it, and that was like 10 miles away, which at that time, that was really far to go, going 10 miles down the way to get the car. I remember having my water bottle on me, had my cell phone all charged up, telling her where I was going, because 10 whole miles to get down there to where the car was. And that was a haul at that point in time. Rode all the way there, got the car, brought it back home. And so then started kind of going back and forth to work on the bicycle. Started going a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further, going from Wichita over to Hutchinson, Kansas, which is about 46 miles. And that was, I thought it was really fun going from one town to another town on a bicycle. And then we moved on down here to Florida. I switched over from a mountain bike to a road bike and have a steel frame Bianchi that I was riding at that time. And started riding with a club down here called Eastside Cycle Club over in Avalon Park, which is a suburb of Orlando, and enjoying riding with them. And there was an individual in that group named Jim Perry that put out on his Facebook page that he was going to do a cross Florida ride. It was 170 miles going from Cocoa Beach to the Gulf Coast right across Florida. And I thought that just sounded like the neatest thing, going from east to west across Florida. Coast to coast, yep. I wasn't sure. I was up to doing centuries at that point in time. I'd done several centuries, kind of worked up from doing a century to doing one a month. So I was doing several centuries, but 170 just seemed awesome at that point in time. Was really interested in doing that. Wasn't sure how that was going to work out, but I sure wanted to try that whole thing. Did that ride, had a lot of fun doing it, and the next morning I'm laying on the sofa kind of recovering from the whole thing, just laying there watching TV with the remote control in my hands, my legs are aching, and I'm thinking, I bet you I can go another 30 miles and make an even 200. But that got me into doing Randonneur rides. So went to South Florida and started doing those. That got me into a 200K and a 300K. And I went a little bit further on the 300K to round my GPS over to the 200. And then they were doing a Race Across America Cycle Challenge here in Florida.
Yep.
In 2012. And I hadn't done any kind of racing, but it sounded like fun. And I was kind of going back and forth. Should I get into this? Should I not get into this? Am I getting in way over my head doing something like this? Because I knew what RAM was and what the whole thing was. And it sounded like a lot of fun. And it was the last day to register.
It's like the Monday of the race.
And I'm still on the fence. Should I do this? Should I not? And there was a phone number on the website to call if you had any questions or concerns. So I walked out of my work and got in the car, just at a quiet place. Nobody's going to bother me. Nobody's going to walk into my office or anything. Just got in the car. And I called that phone number, and Fred Bodling answered. That just about blew me out of the water right there. It's like you call a Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett or something.
Warren Buffett, huh?
Him to answer personally.
Yeah.
I'm back in the car going, wants to introduce himself. And I started asking him, where I was at, what I've done. I've done the Randonneur rides. I've done a 200-miler. I'm interested in the 200-mile course. I'm on a steel frame Bianchi. I have mountain bike shoes for clips at that point in time. I'm expecting to go to this event and have everybody there in full carbon fiber bikes and bullet helmets. And they're saying go, and everybody's gone, and I'm still trying to find my clips and get clipped in. As I kind of talk with him about my concerns, he's telling me, oh, no, you'll be fine. This is a great place to start off. Come on up. We'll get you going. It'll be great fun. So I went ahead and registered for that thing. I didn't need a crew, but she went along as a crew, and I just had the Ford Taurus for a crew vehicle, and she followed me through the 200-miler, and that was a lot of fun. And it was a long year with her putting up with me, thinking, I should have. But I had different people where I was in the I was riding with, not with, around them that were heading off on the 400-mile course as I was making the turn back
Yes, right.
to the 200-miler. And it was a long way getting back to 200 miles at that point in time, but I really wanted to do the 400. So rolling on to the next year, I did a full Randonneur series, did the Florida Cycle Challenge again in 2013, and that year did the 400-mile course. And that was my first RAAM qualifier. I went up to and did the Mid-Atlantic.
Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that point in time, I got 380 miles out of that one. I was more interested at that point in time in going all the way through the night, not burning out, not having to quit. I was like at about 211 at the halfway point and then backed off enough to know I could make it on through the rest of the time. And I was very happy with the 380 miles I got at that point in time. I kind of went up there with the mind. I wanted about 320 to 360, and I got 380 out of that. So I was very happy with it at the time. Did Sebring the first time in 2014.
Yep.
And so that's my second shot at doing a 24-hour event, and that time I was more after the 400 miles out of it.
Okay.
Finished that one, I think, at about 416 miles. And so that'd been my second RAAM qualifier. So that kind of got me into doing the 24-hour events. And then in 2015, I went out and did the Silver State 508.
Okay.
It was my first time at doing a 500-mile event. Went out way too hard on that one. I was well into the second night getting back into Reno. And it was hard going up that last climb, that 7-mile canyon.
Very good. So now let's get on. Now, was last year your first raw, I believe?
Yes, it was.
And how did that go?
I ended in Arizona. Shalom, Arizona? Shalom, Arizona. Dehydrated out. Felt good coming out of Oceanside, going out across the desert. Hit Shalom, took a nap, got up, got out of the van, and man, it was hot getting out of the van. Walked into the RV to get my bibs on and get ready to go. Somewhere along the line, just passed out, hit the floor, and woke up staring up at the ceiling. So once I hit the ground, I was right back up again, alert. And I didn't even really realize what had happened with me at that point in time. I'm looking up at the ceiling and thinking, oh, they're getting me up, it's time to go. And once I sat back up, I realized I'm in the middle of the RV. Like, this isn't right. This isn't where I went down to sleep at earlier.
Yeah.
It didn't take very long to kind of get back to what had happened, walking to the van, but I didn't realize what even went on at that point in time.
And he spent the night in Wickham Hospital in Arizona. We were trying to get him back on the road, but the doctor said he didn't advise it.
Okay, so I believe now you're registered once again for Raw 2018, are you?
Yes, I am.
What did you learn on 2017 you're going to do different on 2018?
I'm going out about a week earlier just to do some better acclimating to getting out there in the desert, dry heat.
Were you on the crew, Brandy?
Yeah, I was. I was on the night shift.
And your crew chief was who?
Tina Weitzman?
She lives out in California, San Francisco, Arizona. I met her when I crewed Marco in 2016.
So you're out to do RAAM once again and with some new learning experience. You're going to be on the crew again, Brandy?
Yes. As of right now, looks like I'm going to be on the crew again, and we're trying to get that crew together right now.
What dreams you have for the future?
I'll have to see where this all goes once I get Raw out of the way. So can't really say. I thought I would be up at this point doing Raw. So I'll have to see where that goes. If I get into Durango this year, to have to see where it goes from there.
I know he's got some guys down here bit by the bug, so I would foresee maybe a team event going for a RAM in the future.
Well, we always say it's a virus, and no matter who you are, a racer, crew, or fan, or a guy like me sitting here talking on the internet, when that bug bites, it bites hard.
Yeah. Every time we end one of these things, I already got a whole thing cooked up the very next morning of where I'm going next and what I'm going to try out after that one.
He's definitely changed. His first 100-mile race, it was, I'm throwing the bike away and I'm never touching biking again. And now he doesn't even get off the bike before he's deciding what he's doing next.
Yes, well, we've all been there.
When I was coming out of the ER from the last Raw, we were talking about maybe doing it, waiting a year and going back in 2019. And we started that conversation right there the very next morning. I was giving her a call. She was at a hotel room. I was still in the hospital waiting to get checked out of there. And I was already calling her saying, how about 2019? And then I think by midday or the end of the day, it wound up turning back around to, yeah, we're just going right back again next year.
We didn't make it to Durango from Wickham, Arizona before he'd made the decision to go this year again.
Right. Well, it's nice to talk with you folks. We hope to be seeing more of you around the circuit very soon.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we want to thank the Ingels for taking time out to be with us when we recorded this show. They had just come out of the other side of a hurricane, and still they were able to join us, and we appreciate that a great deal. Also, we want to be sure to thank all those of you who view the show, those of you who support the show in so many ways on social media. We really appreciate that. And you help the show to get the word out about the sport of ultracycling when you support the show on the social media. Our next show will be on January the 17th, and we're going to have Christian Maudit from France. First time we've ever been to France, believe it or not. And with that, we're going to say goodbye.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.